Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. The start of our next episode of Western Dressage, with the help of 101 Western Dressage Exercises, an app downloaded onto an iPhone, we have exercise number 33 to start working with Sadie, my youngest horse, in a side pull, in a Western saddle, very gently, patiently trying to teach her not just over the haunches, but over the forequarters. We have set up this arena, which isn't a dressage arena, but we have marked the posts according to a particular dressage arena pattern that I got off the internet. A, K, V, E, S, H, C, M, R, B, P. Those are the focus points for this exercise. And I use the word focus vehemently. Both Katie and Sarah, who's on Katie, need to focus on the next place they're going. And these letters in the dressage arena, it's for a smaller dressage arena, help to focus. Now, according to this exercise number 33, turn on both ends, A is over here, is it? Yeah, A is over here. We're going to do forehand, right? Turns. E is over there.
Yes.
We're going to do haunches turns. We're not going to do the rollbacks that we were doing with Sadie and Semi at the end of our last session. Sadie isn't ready for that. We want to do it more patiently, more gently. We want her to understand the cues. Do you have spurs on yet?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay, and Sarah has never used spurs, but I told her to gently turn her toe out when she wants to cue with her spur. We're not going to jab with it, we're just going to touch with it. It will be noticed more easily by the horse. Have you tried it yet?
Yes, she is a lot more responsive.
Okay, a lot more responsive, says Sarah. We're showing you how here at Shadrack Farms, we're going to go through a thread of Western Dressage to help our Morgans do cow work. Eventually, and ranch horse versatility, and eventually all of these exercises are leading to a using horse, because that's what we like to do here at Shadrack Farms. So let's show what you're able to do before we turn on the camera, and let's discuss afterwards what you think we need to do to get Sadie more consistent. And can you walk us through it? You've got a mic on.
Yes.
Say it. Tell us what you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you're trying to do.
Okay. So I'm going to start at A. I'm just going to circle around.
At a nice walk. This is a nice ground covering walk. The app calls it a different kind of walk, but we think a working walk.
Yes.
Yeah, a working walk.
And I'm heading toward E.
And focusing on it. Tell us when you get there.
And then I'm going to do a nice halt. Who?
A nice quiet halt. Yeah, she looks patient.
Turn on her haunches.
Beautiful. Very nice.
And then I'm going to proceed over to, I think it's F. And I'm going to try to do a turn on the forehand. Ooh.
You need to get, okay,
Girl.
look good. It looked real good. We're just going to repeat until Sadie understands, until Sarah gets the feel. Do it again, Sarah. Sometimes we don't know when's a good time to stop, but that one was so good. And whoops, little bit of concern there. You saw that. Let's give her more time to stop and consider, what is it you're asking?
Yep.
She kind of walked around that time.
Uh-huh.
And we want over the haunches there. at E after a quiet halt. At A, halt. Whoops. Better. Okay. All right, the first one was better.
Right.
We almost went too far. Do you feel like you want to try it again, or should we wait for another session? It's really the rider's choice on that one.
I'm going to ride her straight in a straight path to get her kind of energy moving again, and then try it again.
Okay. And straight paths are sometimes good along the fence, but sometimes even better down across the diagonal, looking at the far diagonal post to help you have focus.
She's just getting a little anxious now because she doesn't know what I want to ask her to do.
Tell us what you're doing now.
I'm going to circle around and then start over at A at a working walk and try to do the turn on the haunches.
Turn on the haunches is at E.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we start at A.
Start at A. Okay. See, all of these labels, they just help give you focus, give you a pattern to follow.
Ooh.
If you want her to slow down, please say easy or slow. Ho is a word that's saved only for all legs stop. Okay, all right, she's upset. Let's get her back. You walk out. We almost should have stopped the first time around, but sometimes you don't know. You want to repeat. I'll bet you when we do this next time, she'll be much better, but we need to stop on a good note. I like the way she's walking now. I like the way she's looking. I like the way her ears are listening.
Ooh.
Ho for a little longer this time. She's expecting you to maybe touch her with a spur, ask for something. Better. She tried to throw her head and then didn't. Okay, we'll call that success. She's licking her lips. Good sign. But she's not upset. She's not bulgy-eyed like she was when we were doing rollbacks. She wasn't ready for rollbacks the cowboy way. Okay, she stepped forward and backward a little bit, but essentially did a turn over the haunches. We need to make her understand when she can step forward and backward or not. I consider that success, if you agree.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay, and that head throwing, that will stop as she begins to focus on your request and isn't concerned about them. Now, she's young. She needs this kind of dressage. Should I call it rigidity, this kind of dressage, repetitiveness, gentleness. I think she needs it to learn it. And then maybe we can go back to following the moving object with a cowboy rollback, cowboy dressage, or cow work with a real cow, albeit a mini cow, which is what we use here at Shadrach Farms. She will be ready. But we're going to make sure she has the foundation, and Western Dressage is going to help us do it. Do you have any other comments?
I think she did good the first time, and I think that's a good step in the right direction.
Okay, and you're feeling comfortable knowing the pattern?
Yes.
The way we set up the arena, following these instructions on app 33. And we are looking through the apps for what we're going to work on next. We're reviewing exercise 33, which we did last time. But we're noticing that Sadie is not giving us softness and vertical flexion. So watch what we're doing right here. We just chose a random place. We've got a side pull on her head. Yes, immediate release and rub. Isn't it much better? Sarah, yes. If we have to do it 100 times, that's okay. It is prerequisite to getting good over the haunches and over the forequarters. Okay, let's do it again. Yes, immediate release, and then she knows what is the right answer. Now, for a review of 33, tell us what you want to do.
For a view of 33?
Yeah.
I'm going to walk over toward A and then bend through the corner nicely, off, and then we might have to back her up a little bit because I think she needs that backward motion in order to know she's going to turn over her haunch.
So this is the diagram that we got from the app. This is a list of the steps that we're to take, but Sarah just told you what the steps are. They're in her mind, and she's going to try it now as a review of 33. Cold, windy day. Weather sometimes has to do with performance. Before you try anything, though, stop and get that vertical flexion wherever you're going to do it. Yes. Good girl. Ready? Get the vertical flexion. See, she's getting nervous. She's getting nervous. She knows you're going to ask. Even stand there for a while and do it, even if you don't go on with the exercise. Good. Nice. Okay, now just tell us, let's just let her stand there. Tell us what you're going to do next.
I'm going to ask her to back up, and then I'm going to ask her to turn on her haunches.
180 degrees. All right, let's see how it goes. Look over. Good. Keep going. Insist, insist. That's it. Okay. All right. It's not exactly. Okay, over, over, over. Open on your left. You didn't get it. Okay, open on your left. Open on your left with your leg, and you're going to use your left rein wide. And look over. Look over, over, over. Look at the hip. You got it. Okay. We'll get it. We'll get it softly. Both Sarah will be soft and Sadie will be soft. We may not even go on to 32 today if we don't get 33. Sadie is a good candidate for these Western dressage exercises because she does not respond well to the natural horsemanship cowboy method. She gets all bulgy-eyed and stressed. First, get that vertical flexion. She's anticipating. Good, good, good. Stand there for a minute, okay. And then, as softly and as smoothly as you can, ask for a back. Not getting it, okay? You know what? Use that spur and say, no, that's the wrong answer. There you go. We're going to have to insist. We're going to have to insist for a while. We're going to have to use our tools. Better.
Okay.
We might try this next time with a snaffle.
Okay.
You look at the hip and it moves away from your look.
Right.
Insist. Squeeze when you want her to hoe. In other words, if she's going back and she's not hoeing for you, squeeze.
Yeah, I don't want her to back. I just want her to tuck her head.
Good. Boy, we're getting that much better than we were at the beginning of the lesson. There you go. You're looking like a cowgirl. Yes! You got it good over the haunches. By my estimation, we're not going on to 32 today.
Okay.
We're just going to keep practicing 33, but for the sake of looking ahead, what's coming up, I'm going to show you the diagram for 32 in the camera. It's called turn and go with looseness. And it's done along the MBF line. MBF line. That'll be for another episode, another session, our next session. More on exercise 33. This time Katie's riding. We've got a snaffle, O-ring snaffle on Sadie, and the outrag using double reins in case we feel that they would help to bring her into vertical flexion. Katie knows the pattern here. We're going to work on over the haunches, and then if we can get that done nicely, just like that, little bit of dancing on the back feet. That was a little bit of bottle topping, Katie, so we need to get that 180 over the haunches without moving the back feet, just swiveling over them. That's over the 4/4, is that correct?
Yeah, that's what you wanted.
Yes, all right. The snaffle seems to make a big difference.
Oh.
Let's see if we get consistency. I have my flag here in case I need to do a little bit of helping from the ground. Much better. You see, Sadie has done some cow work in the past, especially with our mechanical equipment. So she knows the maneuvers we want, just didn't quite understand. So, oh, nice. Quite understand up till now what our cues are going to be from the point of view of Western dressage. Very nice.
Oh. Good girl.
We really want to go on to exercise 32, but until we get 33 consistently mastered with softness and lightness from Sadie, with Katie or Sarah aboard, we don't want to go on to the next exercise. That was beautiful. Can you tell us how you're feeling? Is she understanding? She sure looks like it. A little bit of tail swishing, but nothing more.
The tail swishing and the biting at the bit is kind of normal for Sadie, especially when she starts feeling the spurs. And I am using them just slightly so that she is lighter and more responsive, but overall she's responding very well and being calm.
Yeah, not throwing her head a lot. Have you had to pick up the double reins at all to get that vertical flexion?
No.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, now she's dancing around a little bit. Okay, that's not the right answer.
Good girl.
Good. Let's calm her down.
Up.
At some point, she'll realize when the pressure is not removed, it's because she's not removing it. All she has to do is do the correct maneuver, lightly, softly, with hopefully eventually imperceptible cues, and consistently. And then we'll be done with, okay, there you go, with exercise 33, Western Dressage, downloaded as an app onto an iPhone.
Oh.
Very nice. And you see she's doing that even without any kind of moving object to follow. Usually it's easier for my horses to follow a moving object because they understand that that's their job.
Oh.
But in Western Dressage, no way. We've got to get them to understand our cues.
Oh. Good girl.
Okay, any comments? I say that we've reached our moment of resolution. Exercise 33, this is what the pattern looked like. The turn on the forehand, the turn on the haunches, begin at K, at E, halt quietly, ride 180 degrees, turn on the haunches, ride straight ahead in a working walk, bending nicely through the corner, at A, halt, ride 180 degree turn on the forehand, and repeat in both directions. And we have very clearly marked our fence with marker pen. Can you look at the A and the E here between the two mirrors? And then we have the corner. Even though this isn't a dressage arena, we may do with these labels. And gosh, do you feel like you want to do it again, Katie, or do you feel happy with her response?
I am happy with it. I am probably just gonna ride her more in the arena, just doing basic arena stuff, just for a longer lesson on her because she needs it.
Okay. And then Sarah was riding her last time. There were a few things that Sarah, because of lack of experience, we need to emphasize with her so that we have consistency between riders, like leg placement when you're asking for a back, a turn. Can you say anything now that would help Sarah or any other rider on Sadie about what to emphasize when you're going over the haunches, when you're asking for a straight back, and when you're going over the 4/4 and going nicely around the corners?
Since Sadie isn't push button about it, you just really have to be very clear with the cues, and making sure your leg is either at the cinch, slightly in front, or a little bit behind, depending on what you want her to be moving. She's just not as well trained as maybe Semi would be, so it takes just the exact cues for her to react.
Okay, and I'm noticing that your torso is staying straight up, and when you're going over the haunches, are you opening the inside rein and the inside leg? Are you on purpose doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
And I definitely get at least a lean back, if not a step back, before I do over the haunches.
Okay, all right. And all of these things need to be properly timed, or otherwise the cues aren't understood. And that's what's so difficult yet so beautiful about dressage, albeit Western dressage. In our case here, we do the kinds of exercises that we feel are ultimately going to help us with ranch horse versatility. All of these things, it's not just a matter of where, but when. It's the timing. And to give reward by letting your horse know that they've given you the right answer, and by using the philosophy, don't stop on a bad note. Always go back to something you know you can do. Call that your note of resolution, as Pirelli mentions. He relates it to music. And start up again next time, even if you're having trouble on any particular cue or any particular timing or any particular exercise. Well, we feel in a very short time we've shown you exercise 33. So next time we'll start trying to understand exercise 32, which is very similar but in a different position of the arena, in a slightly different pattern, but it's still over the 4/4, over the hindquarters, with softness and lightness. And that's all for today. Now we evaluate Firecrest Easter Eve's prerequisite skills on performing Western Dressage 101, exercise 32. Today, exercise 32 for the first time with Eve, Firecrest Easter Eve. Here is the sketch. Here on the back side are the instructions. It's called turn on the forehand, turn and go. Begin at a halt at M facing that corner, ride 180 degrees turn on the forehand, asking your horse to move away from your right leg so that it turns into the rail. Then immediately proceed ahead at a working jog down the rail. Now we're not sure whether or not Eve will do a nice working jog today, so we'll try it, but we may have to do it at a walk. At F, that corner, halt, ride 180 degrees turn on the forehand, asking your horse to move away from your left leg, proceed straight ahead at a jog. Again, we may do it at a walk. This is just prerequisite skills. How much work do we have yet to do with Eve? And then we'll try it with Sadie too, and maybe even with Semi. Okay, go ahead, Sarah. Now Eve has a snaffle on today and her double reins in case she fails to give us vertical flexion. The double reins help us a lot. They just hang on her neck if we don't need them. Okay, so here goes Sarah. She practiced a little bit before we turned the camera on. Remember not to look at the ears, look ahead at where you're going. There's a real good video on YouTube by Richard Winters about getting your horse to go in a straight path. And there goes Sarah, you look perfect. You're at M. Good. Not bad, not bad. Good on the forehand. Okay. She's not getting excited. Let's see if you can just cluck a little bit, real light. Give her her head. See if you can get a jog. Nope. Okay, maybe on the next time. Okay, we've got a little bit too much movement with her front legs. Okay, and she's getting a little bit iffy at her mouth. See if you can get a jog this time. Okay, and you are posting, and I know you have an English background, but if you can do a jog at a sit, I think she won't get quite as quick at the jog.
Okay.
Okay, so try again now. You're back at M. You need to turn into the fence. Look. Squeeze her forward if she's going back. See, squeeze her forward. Good. Good. She'll understand. Good. And behind the cinch, much better. Good. Sit it. Nice. Back. Into the fence. Squeeze her forward if she doesn't go around her 4/4 and instead moves backwards. There. Very nice. Very nice. Very good posture. You used your spurs nicely. But watch that head. See that head? She says, "What do you want now?" Okay, you get it. Do you understand the double reins? Just pick them up if you want that vertical flexion one more time. I hope we'll get our moment of resolution on this third time. Good. Look forward. Good. Now you're going to go into the fence. Squeeze her forward if she doesn't go around her. Nice. A little bit of agitation in her mouth, but nothing much. Let's jog down the fence line. Straight path. Look at where you're going. Try to get that vertical flexion. There. There. See more at www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.